And as we continue our coverage, TV6's Jenna Jackson has been in downtown at the scene all week long and has the latest information. Jenna, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Dustin, good morning. As Kyle mentioned, it is now actually starting to rain here in the downtown area, and I want to put your attention right behind me. Crews are on scene. They have been on scene overnight, and they are actually starting to go through the rubble pile. I want to point your direction to the wooden structure that has now been set up against the building. Police officers on scene telling me that crews did that in order to hopefully hold up the building while they actually go through that rubble pile. And that is something that is brand new today, because at last check, we had been told several times that they likely would not be able to go through the pile of rubble because that pile of rubble is what was holding the building up. So you can see crews right now going through this rubble pile. The rain is starting to come down a little bit more. I was speaking to one of the officers here on scene, him telling me that just moments ago they had to kind of step away from it for a little bit because they were concerned about that wind. So we know Kyle will keep us up to date on what's happening with the weather, especially as this building, we have been told many times, is very structurally insecure and is in a lot of danger of collapsing. I am told that they will be putting a tarp over this fence line here soon. You can see the signs from protesters are now gone, and that's because they're going to put a tarp over to respect the privacy, as they are hoping to recover the remains of the likely 3 missing men who they believe are still in the rubble. It's starting to rain a little bit more down here, so we're going to obviously keep you guys up to date with everything that is going on. But for now, reporting live in downtown Davenport, I'm Jenna Jackson, KWQC TV6 News.
All right, thank you, Jenna. We'll continue to check in with her throughout the morning. Now, this story continues to develop as time passes. Follow along with TV6 for the latest updates on our website and news app.
All right, as Jenna was mentioning, we are starting to see that rain move on into the Davenport area, and it looks like downtown is just going to get clipped with some of the lighter rain. Looks like the west side of Davenport, as you get toward Rockingham Road, that's where we are going to see some of that heavier rain shower activity. So we're going to continue to monitor this throughout the day, because we do still have additional thunderstorms possible here as we head especially into the afternoon and evening. That's as we get temperatures back into the upper 80s to lower 90s. But notice that wind, it comes out of the east, and that has some implications on your weekend forecast. We'll tell you what that means coming up in your first alert forecast.
Well, as we continue our coverage of what's happening in downtown, TV6's Jenna Jackson joins us live from the scene now. Jenna.
Yeah, good morning, Dustin. As you can see right behind me, they have started to put up the tarp over this fence here, and they're doing that for the privacy of the families who may have loved ones inside the building at this time. Moments ago, you saw the crews searching through that rubble, and that kind of surprised us this morning coming down here. We know crews have been working overnight, but several times we were told that they would not be able to search the rubble because that is what was holding the building up. Well, we got on scene. It is raining still out here, very lightly, but it is still raining. And you could see behind me, you no longer can see it, but there was a wooden structure that was built to hold the building up, to keep it from falling down while the search and rescue teams go through this rubble. So it's a very developing scene down here at this time. We were told they were going to put this up in the event that they do find any remains here of the 3 missing men that are believed to still be in the building, in the rubble potentially at this time. Now, there is a press conference today at 10 a.m. Hopefully we'll be able to ask them more about their decision into going into this rubble now, and what prompted that decision. Maybe they learned new information. Of course, all big questions that we have this morning. But again, they are on scene. They are starting to dig and search through that rubble early this morning. For now, reporting live in downtown Davenport, I'm Jenna Jackson at KWQC TV6 News.
All right, thank you, Jenna. And again, there is a press conference that's supposed to be at 10 a.m. this morning. TV6 will be there to bring you everything that's happening during it. All right, now to our continuing coverage of the partially collapsed building in downtown Davenport. Jenna Jackson is live in downtown Davenport with the latest developments. Jenna, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Dustin. Well, as I told you just moments ago when we got on scene, we were surprised to see the search and rescue teams going through the rubble. We know that Iowa Task Force 1 is on scene. We also saw Sioux City Urban Search and Rescue on scene as well. They're going through the rubble now. In the last maybe 15-20 minutes, this tarp has gone up along this fence line. Officers here on scene telling me that they are putting up the tarp to respect the privacy of the three men who likely remain in the building and in that rubble, and also privacy and respect for the family as they search through this rubble pile to recover the remains of their missing loved ones. We know that at least 3 men remain in the building at this time, and you might be able to hear, and I don't know if you can, you might be able to hear the crews actually digging through the rubble. They were using shovels as well as some heavy machinery, and they were able, officers told me when I got here, to prop the building up with a sort of wooden structure that they are hoping would provide some stability, that the structural engineer said at that time that the pile of rubble was providing from them. Now, meanwhile, we did receive video showing the moment the building collapsed. You can see here as bricks start to fall away right before it collapses. You can also see in the video where work was being done on the building right where it starts to collapse. Now, this is from a security video, so we really only have the first few seconds of the collapse. Of course, we are hoping to get more of that video soon. And we're also learning new details today on the owner of the collapsed apartment, Andrew Wold. While we haven't been able to reach Wold, we've reached out several times, and those questions and comments have not been answered. Our TV6 Investigates team, Matt Christensen, spoke to people who worked with him, including one consultant who repeatedly raised warnings about the building's safety.
I've been in a lot of buildings over the years. I've been in a lot of pretty rundown structures. I've never felt so nervous in my entire life.
Now, Noyd gave a deposition to Davenport City attorneys earlier this week, telling them the same details he gave to TV6. Meanwhile, Mayor Mattson said one city employee has already resigned for misfiling the Davenport's latest inspection permit. City officials say an outside agency will investigate not only the collapse, but how problems were missed during the inspection process. Dustin, I can tell you at this point, the rain is starting to lighten. Of course, that is good news for the search and rescue teams who are inside the pile of rubble right now, searching through it. For now, reporting live in downtown Davenport, I'm Jenna Jackson at KWQC TV6 News.
All right, we're coming up on 5:08 here on your Friday morning. As Jenna mentioned, the rain in downtown is starting to lighten up just a bit, but one area that we've seen the heaviest rain is right around Rockingham Road there on Interstate 280. You can see visibility reduced just a bit, but traffic is moving along fine. We're dry at I-74, I-80 interchange there in Davenport, and you can see on our TV6 Skyview, we're also seeing a few raindrops as that rain continues to lighten up, and with the heaviest rain on the west side of Davenport right now.
Well, city leaders provided more details on resources available to residents of the partially collapsed building in downtown Davenport, including financial aid. TV6's Aaron Gutierrez was at that press conference and has details on an event to help those impacted.
I heard a big bang.
Now, the assistance is on top of the governor's disaster proclamation, which makes residents of the building eligible for an additional $5,500. In total, residents impacted could receive up to $11,500 in financial aid to get them back on their feet. And as we continue our coverage, TV6's Jenna Jackson has been in downtown at the scene all week long and has the latest information. Jenna, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Dustin, good morning. You can see behind me now the tarp is set up over this fence, and that's because somewhat surprising to us this morning, crews are actually going through the rubble at this time. We're told overnight that they put up a structural wooden beam, and the next shot that I do, I'm going to try to get you guys a better look at that beam. And what's surprising about it this morning is that we were told several times by the city that the pile of rubble rope is essentially what is holding this building up, and that's what they couldn't go through, why they couldn't go through it at that time. However, now it looks like they've put up a structural support system, and they're going through the rubble, hoping to find and either rescue or recovery of the 3 missing men that are believed to still be in this building. Those men are Ryan Hitchcock, Brandon Colvin, and Daniel Prien. Now, I do want to mention that I was speaking to Brandon Colvin's son's mother, Desiree Banks. We spoke to her yesterday morning. When I got on scene, I said, hey, how are you doing? What are you feeling now that they're going through the rubble? And she told me kind of like, finally, it's what they wanted. But she also mentioned, and she recognizes the fact that these men and women who are out here have come from across the state to help out, leaving their families to help her find her family. So it's an emotional scene down here. There are people kind of watching on as the rescuers look through this rubble. A lot of emotions. Now, I do also want to mention that yesterday in the press conference, City Administrator Corey Spiegel mentioned that due to the age of this building, that it is likely that it is filled with asbestos. So that is another big concern, not only for the crews out here going through this rubble. I did see them all wearing face masks. It's also a concern, they said, for people who are standing out here as well. I'll tell you, I have my N95 mask right here on my arm just in case anything does happen out here. And so, you know, they're taking those safety precautions. But of course, that press conference today at 10 a.m. with the city, really hoping to ask, you know, what changed? What did they learn that allowed them now to go through that rescue? We know yesterday there were dogs on scene yet again, and that was from the Iowa Task Force 1. We also know that Sioux City Urban Search and Rescue is here on scene as well. You can probably hear behind me the construction equipment. There have also been digging through that rubble, and we've seen other large machinery here on scene. So really, this is very much a developing scene right now, Dustin. And of course, we are hoping to learn a lot more today at that press conference. For now, reporting live in Davenport, I'm Jenna Jackson, KWQC TV6 News.
And as we continue our coverage of what's happening in downtown, TV6's Jenna Jackson joins us live now from the scene. Jenna, what can you tell us?
Hey, Dustin, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to try to get you a little bit of a better look at that structural support that they built up against this wall. So I'm going to step out of the way so you guys can see it. We're over here on Harrison now, so you can see this wooden structure. And I spoke to a few officers when I got on scene, and they told me that they built that so it would help to support the rest of the building so that searchers could go through the rubble. And that's what's happening right now. As we got on scene, we were a little surprised to see the search and rescue teams actually going through the rubble. So right now, we've seen them moving rubble out of the way. We've seen them digging down into it. And what surprised us about that is that we have been told that the rubble is essentially what was holding up this building. It was providing that structural stability. So now that they've built this wooden structure, it appears as if the crews are able to go through the building. That is a big thing that we will be asking today about at that press conference at 10 a.m. What new information did they receive that allowed them to actually start to go through the rubble? Now, I mentioned that earlier. I spoke to Desiree Banks. She is the mother of Brandon Colvin's son, and Brandon Colvin is one of the 3 men still believed to be in this building. And she's really emotional today. She said that you know, this is what they wanted. They wanted them to go through the rubble, but she also does recognize that the people going through the rubble also left their families to come and search for her family. So it's an emotional time down here. As we mentioned, they have put a tarp covering over the fence over there for the respect and privacy of the 3 missing men that are believed to be likely in this rubble. Their names, of course, Brandon Colvin, Ryan Hitchcock, and Daniel Prian. So hoping to learn a lot more about this. Obviously, this is a much different scene than we saw here yesterday, where really the entire scene was fairly quiet and calm. So hoping to learn a lot more. We know the dogs were out here yesterday as well. We'll, of course, bring you all the latest updates throughout the morning and throughout the day. Reporting live in Davenport, I'm Jenna Jackson at KWQC TV6 News.
Almost 6 o'clock on your Friday morning. We finally made it to Friday after a long week. And if you're just waking up, you probably noticed the ground might be a little wet. We had some spurts of showers this morning.
Yeah, depending on where you're at, you know, one side of town might have stayed dry. The other side of town might have gotten some pretty heavy rain. Here at TV6, we've had some light rain. Jenna Jackson, she's reporting live in downtown Davenport for us. She saw some light rain as well. But west side of Davenport, out toward Rockingham Road, some pretty heavy rain. So we are going to see that kind of pop-up thunderstorm activity here as we head throughout the day, mainly during the afternoon, as we get those temperatures back into the upper 80s to lower 90s.
Now, Iowa Task Force Urban Search and Rescue went into the building late last night with cadaver dogs. City leaders say the rescue team went in to re-verify and mark all of the rooms in the building. City leaders will also have a news conference this morning at 10 a.m. that we will be at. Now, the city has also released the names of all 3 people who are still unaccounted for. We already knew Brandon Colvin and Ryan Hitchcock were among those who have not been found. At yesterday morning's press conference, they released the name of a third man, 60-year-old Daniel Prian, as also missing. All of their apartments were in the collapse zone. Davenport Police and Fire are asking for any information regarding whether they were home or not at the time. Contact Davenport Police or Fire if you have any information on that. All right, switching gears now. An Iowa sex trafficking victim who was convicted of killing her alleged rapist will not serve jail time after a recent probation violation. Piper Lewis could face 21 years in prison for violating that probation, but as Bo Bowman reports, the judge gave her another chance.
Ms. Lewis, I'm going to suspend those terms of incarceration.
Well, tonight the North Scott girls will be playing in the state semifinals for the first time since 2017. The Lady Lancers will take on Dallas Center Grimes at 12:45 with a trip to Saturday's state championship on the line.
I feel like we're more playing as unity.
About 1/3 of Americans work more than 40 hours a week. I think we can all say we've been there pretty much almost every week. National Leave the Office Early Day was started by an employee productivity specialist. The goal is to help us strike the right balance between working to live versus living to work. I mean, you always got to take time for yourself no matter what, because you got to keep yourself right in your head and right in your body.
All right, well, I guess I will leave right now.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
You can take over, Dustin. I'm gonna go out the door.
Well, it looks
here.
a little cloudy out there today. You can see it in this right here. I'm not very good at this, like looking and then pointing thing. I don't know how you guys do that.
Yeah, you know, I was looking at the radar earlier, trying to do my left hand. I'm right-handed, obviously, and it's very, very difficult to do.
And as we continue our coverage this morning, crews are searching through the rubble. Brandon Colvin's family is watching and praying for answers. TV6's Jenna Jackson joins us now live from the scene. Jenna?
Yeah, Dustin, good morning. As you see behind me, those crews are searching through the rubble, and Brandon Colvin's family is standing by just waiting for some answers. I'm joined now by Desiree Banks, and Desiree is Brandon Jr.'s mom, of course, Brandon Jr. being Brandon Colvin's son. And Desiree, this is the moment that you guys have been waiting for. This is why you have been out here every single day waiting for this moment. Can you tell me how it feels to see crews getting in there?
Well, I do want to say that I'm Brittany Colvin's mother, too. And that's his daughter.
Right.
And he helped take care of Darius Nelson, my oldest, and along with all my kids and his kids. I mean, this is what we've been waiting for, so it's, I don't want to say like a relief, but I don't know the words to describe it, but definitely this is what I've been waiting for. Like, I wanted them to pick this up like you picking up a baby, fragile, and give us our answers. Everybody, we all need these answers.
For sure. We know that you guys have been out here day in and day out, and can you talk to me a little bit about, you know, your kids Brittany and Brandon Jr. and how are they doing through this process, especially now that they're going through the rubble?
Well, I call them papas. So Papa's, which is Brandon, I call him Papa's, and he has been asleep. He's been getting some rest, which I ain't gonna lie, me as a mother, it's almost, I'm glad he's resting, especially during this process. It's probably meant to be like that, just to me, because it's traumatizing. It's very, I don't even know the word, what type of word you would use for this. Like, jump in and out, like, is this real life? Is this not? Like, I don't know. It's crazy. I don't know. It's just crazy. And then, like, the kids, like, I would say, like, I just asked him, he's supposed to be getting up for going to the graduation practice, right? So I just asked him, he was gonna, let's get up, you know what I'm saying? And he's like, so I was like, well, am I taking you, or are you getting a ride? Blah, blah, blah. He's like, my dad's taking me. So, and then it's like, this is not the time for this. And then he went back to sleep, so I don't know. I think he's going to take his dad's car probably to the thing, but I'm like, that's not very, you know. So it's just a lot that you have to deal with. And then Brittany, she's just not there with it. That's daddy's girl. She's daddy's girl. So it's killing her soul. I know it would. It's just killing us. It's breaking us apart. But we're trying to stay as strong as we can. Like, ain't got no choice. Like, it ain't just us. It's not just us. It's the whole situation. Everybody whose families is in there, they live. Are they safe? Like, they're not safe. So we gotta make them safe. Like, get answers. We need answers. It's not, no. I just want to, like, feel like this isn't happening right now.
Earlier, you and I were speaking a little bit. We were talking just about, you know, what's going on here. And you mentioned that you also recognize that these first responders here on scene have left their own families to help your family. And so can you talk to me about that a little bit?
I mean, that's how many thoughts is in my head is I go elsewhere. So just seeing them out here, and these people left their own families to come here. Like, some of these people don't know us from anywhere or any of the other families. Like, and then we're all gathering up here in my community. Like, this is crazy to you guys. Like, right now I'm just in Davenport, Iowa. Like, this is our home. Like, I'm from Rock Island, he's from Rock Island, but we're the Quad Cities. So at the end of the day, it's like, I'm normalizing, I'm right here in my town. So it's like, just for these people to help us, and probably equipments they probably don't even use that much, or I don't even know where. Here in Cedar Rapids helped us. We got Wisconsin, just they're getting help from Miami, like New York, just a whole bunch of different people that all over the world, everybody. I just want to thank you guys. Like, this is what we needed. We needed help. Like, I was begging, pleading. We're all begging, pleading, the whole community, everybody, the world, like. And to even think of it to be to that dynamic is just scary in itself to me. Like, I'm literally just in my Quad Cities. So it's just, we're thankful that you guys left your families to come and help us to try to sort this out and figure this out. Like, this is a lot. Appreciate you, and I pray for y'all while y'all, like right now, while y'all doing that. Like, you're risking your life for us, literally. And they know how many people came up to me that don't know me, and I know for a fact that they're telling the truth. They sign over the papers, rights of their lives to go in there and help. To me, that's, I don't know. You risk your life to go in there. I mean, come on, no thank you in the world's gonna help that, so.
Well, like, you're praying for them, we're all praying for you, and you know that the community is behind you in this effort right now. I thank you so much for joining me this morning, Desiree. Thank you so much. So as you just heard, a lot of emotions here right now, Dustin. It's a somber scene. Of course, this is what the family wanted, but it's also, as she mentioned, the reality that they're living in. A lot of people might be watching this from around the country, but this is reality here. Reporting live in Davenport, I'm Jenna Jackson at KWQC TV6 News.
All right, Jenna, thank you for that report. And Jenna's going to continue to be down there here throughout the Today Show. And, of course, we're going to carry that live press conference or news conference coming up at 10 o'clock right here on TV6, as well as on our website and news app. If you head out the door this morning, of course, traffic downtown Davenport going to be a little backed up due to the closures around the Davenport. And then as we take a look at our other traffic cameras, moving nicely as we have sunshine breakout, but we do have the chance for a few more showers and storms. We'll detail that coming up in your first alert forecast. Here pretty soon.
Well, we have a traffic alert for you in Bettendorf today. 23rd Street should be opening again soon. This is the stretch from Middle Road to Lincoln Road. They're expecting to open the road again by midday today. However, it will be closed again next Wednesday and Thursday for paving work. Now, the city says the project was completed 1 month ahead of schedule.
Need to Know News in 60, sponsored by Highland Toyota. Sell us your vehicle for cash.
And as we continue to cover what's happening in downtown Davenport, TV6's Jenna Jackson joins us live from the scene. Jenna.
Yeah, Dustin, good morning. Here on the scene where search crews have begun to look through the rubble. I'm going to step out of the way so you can see what is going on down here. You can see the crews have started to take away that rubble, dig into it, and they're doing that partially because they do have a wooden structure that is built up against the wall that is helping to secure the wall, because we know, of course, prior to that, that rubble pile, the structural engineer said that that was what was holding up the building structurally. Now, I do want to mention that, of course, family is on scene of Brandon Colvin. He is one of the 3 men considered to be missing and likely in this rubble pile. Brandon Colvin, Daniel Prian, and Ryan Hitchcock. And we were just hearing from Desiree Banks moments ago, talking about how, while everybody might be seeing this, this is also their reality, and they're very thankful to the first responders who are now going through the scene. Reporting live in downtown Davenport, I'm Jenna Jackson at KWQC TV6 News.
All right, thank you, Jenna. And again, there is a press conference supposed to be at 10 a.m. this morning. TV6 will be there.